Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna be talking all things meal prep. So I'm gonna be walking you through exactly how I meal prep each week for our family of 5. This process has helped to cut our food budget down drastically, and I rely on it religiously to make sure we have food on the table every night during those busy weeks. I'm also going to be sharing with you our meal plan for this week, as well as the grocery haul. And then finally, at the end of the video, I'm going to throw in a quick and easy meal that you can prep in under 30 minutes that your whole family will love. Today, you're getting a double dose of meal planning tips along with 2 other easy additional weeknight meals. I'm collaborating with my friend Alicia from By Alicia Brooke. She is a wife and working mama to 2 adorable kiddos from Arkansas. We met over on Instagram about a year ago and we became fast friends. I absolutely love her. She is so real and genuine and just down to earth. I get so many great ideas from her and talk to her on the daily. On her channel, you will find tons of mommy motivation as well as homemaking and lifestyle content. I know you'll love her just as much as I do, so make sure to head over and watch her video next. I'll have her link in the description box below. So for our family of 5, I typically budget about $100 a week. That doesn't include household items or cleaning supplies. That's just strictly food. I found what works best for me, especially during the school year, is taking a little bit of time on Saturdays to sit down and go through my whole meal planning process. I've gotten it down to a science, so it usually only takes me about 30 minutes or so. So now I'm going to walk you through exactly what I do each week when I meal prep. I always start by taking inventory of what's in my fridge, freezer, and pantry because I like to try to use up items I have on hand, 1, so they don't go to waste, and 2, to help cut down on the budget for the week. It also helps me to make sure I'm not buying duplicates of items we already have in the house. Done taking inventory, the next thing I always do is go into my planner so I can check our schedule for the week. While it's very rare that I have a meeting or an appointment late in the afternoon, if I do, I want to make sure I'm planning leftovers for that night so I don't have to cook. I also like to look at any activities that might be going on involving the kids so I can plan around those accordingly as well. After I've checked our schedule, now it's time to figure out what meals we're having. I usually stick to the same format of meals I'm making every single week, but then I can change up the actual meal or recipe. So every Sunday when we're home and have extra time, I typically cook a bigger meal. That meal can be used for leftovers on Mondays, which are usually hectic days and I don't like to cook. Tuesdays are always some kind of taco or Mexican night. Wednesdays and Thursdays are when I kind of vary it up. That's when I like to try out my new recipes, or maybe I'll do a crock pot meal. Friday's always the pizza night, whether we're picking up pizza, making pizza at home, doing tortilla pizzas or pizza roll-ups. Our family loves pizza, so we reserve that for Friday. And then always on Saturday is when I like to use up any extra food we have in the house. So maybe we have lots of meat left over throughout the week that we want to throw on the pit, or maybe we just have leftovers in the fridge that we need to use up. It's also the day that we can go out to eat as a family or pick up takeout as a special treat. Like I said, depending on our schedule, I don't always stick to that same formula for meals, but I like to try to because it makes life a lot easier not having to think as much. So looking at the inventory from this week, we did really good with what's in our fridge. All we have left is lettuce, and I'm gonna let Jason give that to the turtles, which is what we do with all of our produce when it's starting to go bad. Now, as far as how I come up with ideas for recipes, a lot of them I just have on the top of my head. I also keep a list of our family favorite meals in the back of my planner so I can easily reference that. I love to go to Pinterest to look for new recipes. Sometimes if I'm really in a rut, I'll pull out a cookbook. And then I also keep all of our meal calendars in our family command binder. So if I need to, I can go back and look at ideas for recipes there as well. I try not to cook the same things over and over, but then again, if it's a a family favorite meal and I know it's a quick and easy one. I'll probably cook it a couple of times a month. All right, so looking at my freezer inventory, I see that I have sweet potato fries. That goes great with hamburgers, which we haven't had in a while. So I'm gonna write that down as an idea for a meal for the week. Then looking at what we have in our pantry, we have pizza sauce. That's usually a staple in our house. Like I said, Friday night's pizza night. We haven't done homemade pizza in a while, so I'm definitely going to put pizza down for Friday night. We also have pineapple tidbits and refried beans. Both of those ingredients are things that I use when we make sheet pan pineapple chicken fajitas, which is a family favorite. We haven't had that probably in about a month, so I'm gonna put that down and put tea next to it for Tuesday. And then finally, I see we have lots of pasta in the pantry, so I wanna make sure to use some of that up. So I'm going to be making tomato basil chicken tonight, which we will use for leftovers tomorrow night. That's actually the recipe I'm gonna show you at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned. It's a really easy recipe and it's great, not just for a Sunday night, but also for a weeknight. All right, so I've used up pretty much everything on my inventory list that I wanna get to, and I'm out of ideas. So I'm gonna go to Pinterest to see if I've pinned anything recently that I want to try, and if so, I will write that down. I recently saw a recipe for baked chicken parmesan, which I put on my Pinterest board, so I'm gonna try that this week. All right, so now that I have all of my meal ideas down, I'm gonna go in and schedule them for different nights of the week. Once I have our meals planned out, the next step is to go in and order my groceries. I love using the Walmart grocery app because I'm a busy mom with 2 young kids, and the last thing I want to do is drag them into the grocery store with me. It's a nightmare. So I order groceries from my phone on Saturdays, and then I usually schedule the pickup for Sunday morning. Even if you aren't a fan of grocery pickup and like to do your grocery shopping in store, one of my biggest money saving tips is to use the Walmart app as your grocery list. So even if I plan on going into the store, I put all of the groceries I intend to buy into the app. So before I even go into the store, I know what my total will be at checkout. That way, if I'm way over budget, I can kind of move things around. And if I have to change up some of our meals to fit into the budget, I can. The last thing I want is to get to the checkout counter and have no idea that I'm way over budget. If you have never used Walmart grocery pickup before, I will put a link in the description box where you can get $10 off your first grocery pickup order. When I'm adding food to the grocery app, I always start on Sunday. I put everything I need for that meal, and then I go throughout the week. Then after I'm finished inputting all of the items that we need for our meals for the week, I'll go back and add any extra things we need. I have a spot in our kitchen where we write down anytime we run out of food. That way I can easily refer to it when I'm doing my grocery orders. So that's pretty much it for how I plan our meals each week. It typically takes me about 30 minutes on a Saturday. Then on Sunday, all I have to do is pick up the groceries, organize them, and they're good to go. I always make sure I also clean out my pantry and fridge on Sunday mornings before I pick up the groceries, so I'm adding them to a clean and tidy space. Finally, when I plan out our week in my planner on Sundays, I always add our meal plan to the planner, and then I also put it on our wall calendar in our kitchen so I don't have to be asked a million times throughout the week, what's for dinner? So now that I've shown you our meal plan for the week, I'm gonna show you the grocery haul to go along with it, as well as the easy tomato basil chicken recipe. All right, so I just got done with our Walmart grocery pickup order, so I'm going to give you a quick overview on everything we got to get us through the week and to make all of the recipes in our meal plan. We got more bread and turkey, which we use for sandwiches throughout the week, Honey Nut Cheerios, which the kids love, a big thing of yogurt. I take that for snack, and then my kids also love that. I was out of creamer for coffee, and then we needed more milk. So Audrey drinks the whole milk, and the rest of the family drinks the 1% milk. Lots of tomatoes. My husband is going to make salsa to go with the fajitas. So he uses the tomatoes, the cilantro, and the limes. I also am going to use 2 of the tomatoes for the tomato basil chicken, which I'm making later on in the video. Grape tomatoes for salad. This huge bag of mozzarella cheese, I'm going to use some of it for the baked chicken parmesan, some of it for pizza, and then the rest we will have for later on in the month. Basil for the tomato basil chicken. Then we got tortillas, a red onion, green bell peppers, and a red bell pepper. All of that is for the fajitas. Bananas and grapes, which will be our fruit for the week. We were out of eggs, so I got some more of that. I always get lettuce so we can make salads. Then I got chicken tenderloins, which are going to be used for the fajitas. And then this chicken breast will be used for the tomato basil chicken. And then I can either freeze the rest or use the rest on Saturday if we want to throw it on the grill. We were out of cooking spray, so I got some more of that. This marinara sauce is for the baked chicken parmesan. Goldfish, which we were out of for the kids. And then finally, I got a bunch of ingredients for our pizza. The kids typically do cheese and pepperoni, but my husband and I like to make it a little bit more of a grown-up pizza. So I got some goat cheese, I got pesto sauce, sun-dried tomatoes, and then if we have any leftover tomatoes, red onion, or any of the veggies, we can also throw it on the pizza. This Greek yogurt is to make the crust for the pizza. Like I said, we were doing homemade pizza and we make a lightened up version of the crust and it's delicious. I'll make sure to leave recipes for all of the meals that I've referenced throughout this video in the description box below in case you want to check them out. I'm also going to go ahead and put the total that we spent this week. I believe I went over budget by about $10 or $15, but considering I did splurge a little bit with all of the grown-up pizza toppings, I'm okay with that. We'll make up for it later on in the month. All right, so now moving on to this super simple and delicious tomato basil chicken recipe. All you need is pasta of your choice. We're using spaghetti, butter or ghee, salt and pepper, some chicken breast, a few tomatoes, and then basil for garnish. I always like to start by putting my water on to boil first while I prep all the other ingredients. That way it will save me a little bit of time. Next, I'm going to go ahead and wash my tomatoes and basil to make sure they are nice and clean. After that, you're going to go ahead and chop up your tomatoes. You can make them as big or as small as you like. And then you're going to take your basil, remove it from the stem, and coarsely chop that up. If you want to save even more time, this is a step that can be done in advance. Now the recipe says you should pound out the chicken breasts to make them a little bit thinner, but I personally like to slice them lengthwise because I feel like it makes the meat go a little bit further. So right now I'm just slicing the meat out, cutting all the fat out, and prepping it to cook. Then I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands really well after dealing with that raw chicken. And then finally I'm going to go in with salt and pepper and season the chicken really well before I cook it. Now that the water is boiling, I can add my pasta and start cooking that. To get started, you're going to add a little bit of olive oil to your pan and turn it to a medium heat. Once the olive oil is nice and hot, you're going to put your chicken into the pan and let it cook for about 4 to 5 minutes. After one side has cooked for a little bit, you're going to flip it and let the other side cook for an additional 4 to 5 minutes. Now I personally like to multitask as much as possible when cooking dinner, so if I have a little time while something's cooking on the stove, I'll do things like empty the dishwasher or clean up the mess from the meal that I'm currently cooking, so I have less cleanup after dinner and saves me some time. Then I'm going to go ahead and check to see if my pasta is ready. I don't know about y'all, but this is the way I do it. I'm going to turn the stove off, and then I need to add a little bit of butter to the meal. It calls for a couple of tablespoons. You can also use ghee if you prefer. I've done it with that too, and it's just as good. Then I'm going to make sure the fire is turned up pretty high, and I'm going to add in the tomatoes that I chopped earlier. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and drain the pasta so that will be ready when it's time to fix our plates. Then you're going to want to go ahead and add in the basil that you chopped up earlier and give it a good stir. The final step is to go in and season it up just a little bit more with some salt, pepper, and a little bit of dry basil. This meal took less than 30 minutes to cook, and it certainly is a family favorite. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to head over to Alicia's channel and check out her video as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.